Let's listen. Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, our favorite son, Leamington's own Jody Raffoul and his band. Here they go.
Welcome back to Man on the Street, our first episode of 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. We're brought to you by Showtime Detroit. Go to their location on Joseph Campo in Hamtramck and check it out. Dan, the owner, has been dressing Detroit rock bands and performers since 1989, and he has clothes for everyone, not just performers, so go check him out. Today I'm talking with an incredible artist, but he is an artist that has a unique vocal style, and he's a great guitar player. It's Mr. Jody Raffoul. Jody, thank you for joining me today on Man on the Street. How are you?
Hey, Jamie. Great to be here on Man on the Street. I'm really, really happy to be here. You're a wonderful guy. You come out and support us quite often, and you're a lover of the arts, and I'm pretty excited to be here, man. I mean that.
Jody, you grew up in southern Ontario in the city of Leamington over in Canada. And, of course, Leamington is a place known for the farming of tomatoes.
Yes.
And, you started playing guitar at about 15, self-taught. And, for people that we see you play a lot over here in Metro Detroit, we know you're a good guitar player. We see you play a lot. And I see you play with the full band, so you're playing rhythm and singing. But really, what you're known for is your voice. You do have this voice that, in my book, and you know me, I see a lot of bands between Metro Detroit and Southern California, but you have one of those voices that separates you from the rest of the people. And I see original artists, tribute artists, cover bands, but you really have this voice that is so pure rock. And it's just perfect for the genre, and I think that's what separates you from a lot of artists. And I was just wondering, do you have any formal vocal training? How did you develop this voice?
No, I don't have any formal training. The training I got was just singing with my aunts and my uncles and stuff. We were laborers. We sang in the fields and for real, and it was fun, picking tomatoes and talking about the Beatles and Motown and stuff like that, and that's how I learned how to sing. So there was no training, just playing a lot in the clubs and wanting to do only this for a living. You learn to try to emulate or imitate.
When you were 17 years old, you played your first gig over in Leamington at the Village Inn Hotel, and I haven't talked to you about this before, but people around here talk and say that you may have some ownership in a hotel in Canada. And really my question is, number one, do you have ownership in a hotel in Canada? And number two is that hotel the Village Inn Hotel that you played the first gig at? Can you give us the details on this?
Okay, so yes, the Village Inn was the first place that I played, and I was 17 years old. And it's actually coming up on 40 years ago now, so it was February 5th, 85. But the hotel next door is the hotel that I have a little bit of a stake in. It's called the International Hotel, the IT. Yeah. The Village Inn no longer exists. It burnt down, but it was a great place. Yeah.
In the late 1980s, early 90s, you formed a band called the Bad Apples, and that was with one of your cousins, fellow musician Ron Raffoul. The nickname for the band became the Apples. And I was just wondering, can you take us back to that time period in the late 80s there and tell us about that band, the Bad Apples? I mean, who was in that band? What kind of music were you playing? What happened to the band? Did they ever get together again nowadays and play? What's up with the Apples?
Yeah, the Bad Apples. So in 85, it was called the Purple Eyebrows. And then when I became a part of the group, I was like, yeah, can we please change that? Because, Anyway, the Bad Apples, my cousin Ron, who he just passed away about 6 months ago. He was my best friend. And he and I and 23 one-time members of the band. There was 23 one-time members of the band, so we had a whole bunch of drummers, we had a whole bunch of bass players, a couple different guitar players. Mainly it was Scott Giles, myself, my cousin Ron, Wade Sharp was a piano player. Like I said, we had quite a few bassists and quite a few drummers. We would basically, we cut our teeth playing around the clubs in Leamington. We for 2 years in a row, we played 300 shows each year. We played 6 days at the Talbot, 7 days at the International, 6 days at the Seacliff, 7 days at the VI, and we'd go all the way around again, all the way around again, all the way around. And we did a lot of, I mean, we drank quite a bit. But we had a lot of fun. We learned a lot. We learned about what to do and what not to do. And the main thing was we got tight. We were a pretty good vocal band. There were 6 singers in the band all the time. We were pretty shitty musicians, but we were good singers, and we sang the cool tunes, man. And that's, like I said, that's how we cut our teeth.
Throughout the years, there was a point where you were playing like 200 shows a year, and I believe that was between Detroit and Canada. But I was just wondering, nowadays, do you still hit those numbers, or do you get near them? And it's a two-part question. The second part is, when did you start playing in Metro Detroit, and where was that first gig, and what are the details on that?
Yeah, basically, I've been lucky enough to play at least 200 shows a year for the first, oh my goodness, 30 plus years of my, call it a career. Then at COVID, we had a little break there, obviously. And then after COVID, I would say I'm averaging a little under 200, but it used to be over 200, between 200 and 300, really. The first time I ever played in the Detroit area was, we opened a place called the Atwater Brewery, you know, on Joseph Campo downtown. That was the first gig I got there, and then played at the Whitney Garden Party in like 93.9, the FM station there, probably 97. You know, so it's been a while. And then started playing over here at the Andiamos on the Nautical Mile here, and it's been a hell of a ride since. But the first guys I played with were Gary Rasmussen and Robert Gillespie, you know. Then I started doing a bunch of solo work, and I met Wes Buckley, and then Greasy started hanging out, you know, the legendary Greasy, and Garrett, and, you know, the whole 9 yards.
I want to ask you about your original music. Tell us what year your self-titled debut original album came out with original music, and how many original music albums have you put out, and how can people get a hold of that music? Is it on YouTube, or where can they find it?
Oh, the first record came out, started recording it in 94, came out in 95. It was self-titled, just Jody Raffoul, and I've got 6 studio albums and a couple of live efforts as well, and so it's been a good ride. All the music you can find on like Spotify and Apple Music and all that, all of it's available. Or Tammy and Tommy will sell it here and at every show that we're playing at, you know.
Around 2004, one of your fans, unknown to you, submitted one of your original songs to a contest that the band Bon Jovi was having. It was called the Have a Nice Gig contest, and you were like one of almost 18,000 entrants. And the amazing thing is, not only did you win it, but you were handpicked by John Bon Jovi himself as the national winner, and that resulted in your band playing, opening up for Bon Jovi, a sold-out show in New Jersey, their hometown, at Giant Stadium. Wow. Take us back to that time in 2004 in New Jersey.
Yeah, so the submission was actually 2005, and the first concert was in Detroit, and then we had entered into the national part of it, and we won that, and ended up playing in the summer of 2006 at Giant Stadium. So it was pretty wild. It was whirlwind, and we were getting a lot of gigs because we had won, so we were getting a lot of attention. So we were on the road pretty much all the way up until we did that show in Jersey, and it was a real hot day. I'll never forget. It was like 120 plus on stage. It was real hot. And right at the end of the last song, a torrential downpour. It was amazing. It was amazing. They were very nice to us, you know, and yeah, two friends, I think Carrie Krause and Teresa Jackson submitted our CD behind our back. We didn't even know that they were going to do it. And hey, it was worth it. It worked out for the better. Mm-hmm.
You know, your family is just filled with talent. I know your wife, Bridget, is a professional actress, and your sons, Billy and Peter, have record deals with major labels, and we got to see them. I was it a year or two ago at the Magic Bag. You were there. I was there. And they're very talented, and I think they inherited your hair. They have a beautiful dark hair. Anyway, and it's funny because, you know, Garrett, who's the guitar player in your band, and Garrett is an alumni of Man on the Street. Great interview. Check it out. Garrett, even in the interview, he said he takes credit for your sons getting the record deal. But anyway, how is the family? They're so talented.
Garrett is my son.
Yeah, he's your son too, right? But how is the family, and what's going on with everybody?
Yeah, the kids are doing well. They love what they do. The older boys, Billy and Peter, you know, and, you know, Bridget is doing her thing too, the acting. And the little ones all play hockey, and they're, you know, 15, 13, and 11. The kids are loving they're loving the music, and we're loving what they're sending our way. As long as they're happy, we're happy. You know, the most important thing is they work hard, and they're really, really good kids. So,
Jody, what's going on in 2025? You know, for you right here in the recent future, do you have any special gigs? Anything that you're doing consistently? I know you're here at Watermark. We're here at Watermark tonight in St. Clair Shores. Jody's here on Thursday nights, and Tuesdays a lot you're at the Blue Goose. But what's coming up for you so that people can keep in touch with you on social media and find out what you're doing?
yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, going to be doing a lot of gigs. I got to keep on paying for the hockey, the travel hockey. Doing a lot of gigs, and I'm in the studio recording right now, again, recording my 7th studio release. I never say it's going to be done right here or right here because it never happens that way. So it's, you know, but I am working on it. I'm 2 songs in, and it feels really good. And just got to keep on keeping on, man. And I really appreciate it, Jamie.
I want to thank Jody Raffoul for joining me today on Man on the Street. Check out his social media to find out where he's going to be. A lot of gigs coming up for Jody here in this year, 2025. And you can catch me right here on the next episode of Man on the Street and on Village Radio. I am now on 3 hours. As of January 6th, I'm now on 3 hours. So I'm on 6 to 9 Eastern and 3 to 6 Pacific. So check me out on Village Radio. Your choice for classic alternative. Take care, everyone.
Don't be afraid.